Hi, my name is Kristin Kaufman. Good morning. I hope you're having a wonderful day wherever you are. For those of you whom I've not had the opportunity to meet, I am actually the CEO and founder of a company by the name of Alignment Inc. I'm a recovered corporate executive who has taken on the mantle to help people create the lives they want without giving up the creature comforts that they want. And one of the foundational principles that I embrace is this concept of alignment, which basically means when someone loves what they do, they're good at it, but most importantly, it's tied to something much greater than themselves. And that concept is not limited just to the individual. It actually is transferable to a team, an organization, a company, and ultimately alignment to a market and or their constituents. So I'm a huge believer in the concept of alignment, and I believe that we are most definitely our most powerful when we are aligned. So today, I actually wanted to come on to talk about the concept of burnout. Every week, I try to pick one or two things that I think are pressing realizations that we're facing, especially in the last 18 months, given the COVID-19 pandemic. And one of the realizations that I have come to become painfully aware of is this concept of burnout. Many of my clients and many of my clients' teams are facing burnout. And I wanted to dispel 3 myths around the concept of burnout and specifically what we as leaders can do to help eliminate the realization of burnout, not only within ourselves, but also within our teams. So the first myth is that I think a lot of people believe that burnout is all about the individual and that that person must have a really weak mindset. They're not able to overcome what it is that they need to do despite the conditions that are surrounding them. And that's a myth. Because though I absolutely do believe that an individual has the sacred responsibility to embrace a positive, optimistic, can-do mindset that is a baseline for us to create the lives that we want, I also believe that the culture and the organization in which we work is also a very, very heavy factor on burnout. So even though it is an individual's responsibility to keep our mindset in check and to keep that positive North Star in front of us, it's also our responsibility as organizational leaders to create a culture that facilitates a positive mindset. And that culture is obviously, for those of y'all who've worked with me, know that I believe that a value set that we embrace as collections of individuals creates the culture in which we work. So the first, obviously, rule of making a strong culture is to agree upon what those values are, and then to promote those values and everything we think, say, and do so that those values become real and they get off the walls and into the halls, so to speak. So mindset most certainly is a responsibility for us individually, and it's also a responsibility for the leaders of an organization to embrace a mindset that helps to promote positivity, optimism, can-do spirit to help ward off that risk of burnout. So that's the first thing. The second point, when someone is burned out, a lot of times people make a judgment call that it must be because someone is weak, they're mentally stressed out, they don't have the mental capacity and the wherewithal to do the job. And again, I want to dispel that myth right off the bat. It has nothing to do with being mentally weak, not having the mental stamina. And for us as leaders to place that judgment on someone simply is it's not making the best use of the intelligence that we have. That's a kind way of saying it. Our job as the leader of anyone who is facing burnout is to be compassionate and to be empathetic and to meet them where they are, because most people who are experiencing burnout, it's because they're hard workers, they take their job seriously, they want to do the best job they possibly can, and they're probably doing so with very hard circumstances surrounding them, aka in this case, the COVID-19 pandemic and all the pressures that that puts on us. And all of us, regardless of how resilient we are, regardless of how passionate we are, we risk burnout. So as leaders, it's our job to be empathetic and compassionate, not judgmental about being burned out, whether it be ourselves or anyone on our teams. And the last thing that I will say, and this is the third myth that I want to dispel as it pertains to burnout and what we can do when we're facing that, either personally or with members of our team. A lot of times people will say, you just need to take some time off. You need to log off Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn and email and just go away for a couple of days. And that absolutely has a lot of merit. Don't get me wrong. It's really important that we take time off and we recharge our batteries. My father was a huge believer in recharging our batteries. And even if that means on a weekend, you literally lay on a couch and you watch lame TV and you turn off your phone and you turn off your email just to recharge your batteries, that's all good. That's not the only thing we have to do. As leaders, just letting people take a couple of days off is not addressing the root cause of why people are burned out in the first place. There has to be a work-life balance. And that work-life balance, certainly it's our responsibility as individuals to put boundaries up around ourselves so that we do protect our mental health. It's also the responsibilities of leaders within corporations to take a hard look at our expectations of our employees, what kind of demands we're putting on them, and to be very free with mental health days, if you will. Letting people take more mental health days, perhaps now in the year 2021, than we ever have in the past because of what we're facing, frankly, with the pressures of the pandemic. So those are my three noodles, if you will, of how to address burnout, especially in this day and time. The first is realizing that it's not just an individual mindset. It absolutely is a cultural mindset of how we address burnout and how we shift our mindset around the expectations that we have for ourselves and our collection of people. The second is to meet people that are burned out with empathy and compassion. It's the good old adage, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And we know how much it means to us to have people be compassionate and empathetic when we're facing a challenge that perhaps we've not faced in the past, and we are in fact running on fumes, so to speak, and we need to recharge our batteries. And then the third is to do in fact that. Find a way to recharge our batteries, not only individually, but collectively, again, as leaders of an organization. Take stock in addressing the root cause of why people are in fact getting burned out. Factor in mental health days, especially over the course of 2021, to make sure that people do show up and want to work when they're working. When we don't do that and people just show up because they feel like they have to, that burnout will undoubtedly affect their productivity, not to mention the way in which they are meeting our customers and our clients and basically meeting the work that is being put in front of them. So with that, I hope that gives you a couple, maybe three things to think about of how to reframe your perspective on burnout and what we potentially can do here in the year 2021. Again, my name is Kristin Kaufman. I'm the founder and CEO of a company called Alignment Inc. I come on here every few days to offer bits of wisdom that I've picked up from my clients, as well as my own experiences, hoping to give you all some food for thought. If you found this of help and you'd like to just stay in touch with me, I'll put my contact information below and would love for you to follow me on YouTube, follow me on LinkedIn or any of my social media channels. And certainly if you're interested in getting my blog, which I send out every 3 or 4 weeks, I would love to have you be on my list as well. With that, make it a great day. I think 2021 has the most amazing potential for us as a human race, as a human condition. And I, for one, am going to do my very best to shed some light on ways that we can, in fact, make the most of this time in our lives. With that, make it a great day. Thanks for listening.